I
Dude, I believe heaven is
That's
a
the
state of
funny
mind,
that,
man.
that's the funniest thing, is that everyone keeps fighting and clawing and constantly trying their best to be the greatest thing so that they could eventually, earn heaven or get into the accepted list of applicants that get into heaven. What makes you think that we're currently not in heaven?
uh bro, to be honest, nothing. So
Nothing, right?
I think that where we currently are has the potential to be heaven for everybody. People just need to stop treating it like hell. And Christianity treats it like hell.
You're the sum of the earth. What?
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 What happened?
The sum of the earth? Yeah, pretty much.
Do we have any visitors today, or is it just us three?
Nah, dude, with the Lola Shedi, it's been a little bit difficult to plan something.
Not
I
a
didn't
fuck, dude.
even
No problem. No problem.
yeah, dude, like
I find that we have the best chats when it's just us three anyway, bro.
it's gonna be the three amigos again, man. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've clicked record, so...
Johan, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What do you mean?
You sick?
No,
You 100%?
I'm 100%.
You all sorted?
Yeah, I'm good. Adam, Duncan, and Keelan were here. Adam's doing well. Everything's going well with them, and yeah, they just left. So now it's podcast time, talking about some philosophical shit.
What's on the topic today?
Uh,
I have been doing some reading
okay.
about the universe as code as a concept, and basically how
Wow.
you can basically relax. I'm not like saying I'm discovering groundbreaking knowledge. I'm just sharing how like the stuff that I've been learning, or
Yeah,
at
the
least been
Matrix
reading
did it in
recently.
like 1987.
I know, relax, so relax for my sibling. So like legitimately just this explanation of how they like literally go to like the boson level of explaining how these things are just answering questions of yes or no, and then as a result of that state it influences things all the way up the chain. And like technically with a powerful enough computer you would be able to render our universe, and it is more likely that we are in the rendered reality than we are in an actual reality. And then this book also okay, I know. And then this book like kind of takes a little bit of a left from the Matrix, and it says that dimethyltryptamine is one of the keys for you to tap into what is above this matrix in quotations.
Yeah, but we've known this for like what, 3 years? 4 years?
But dude, but like I know we know this, bro.
Just us personally. Fuck the Native Americans that have known this for like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fact that we know
funniest
this, dude,
thing. Did you know the Native Americans took this as a rite of passage, my dude?
I know,
They
man.
saw this as like people only of the worthiest values would be considered to take this substance.
Yeah, I saw that thing you sent us, Jan. The what do you call it? That diagram of the ego and the death, and then you put the different substances on there. That was really
Dude,
cool.
the different levels of like that goes from weed to psilocybin mushrooms to
Yeah.
LSD to DMT to ayahuasca,
And then
like
to
all of that.
5-MeO.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy, and I get it. I really do. It makes sense. That's why I kind of responded to your message with nothing is true, everything is permitted. Sorry to quote Assassin's Creed, but I think I got that part right.
I do feel it though, dude. But like what I'm saying is even though we know this, right, there is still this resistance towards like truly like being pioneers, if that makes any sense. Like actual psychonauts. Actual psychonauting, dude, and really coming to terms with what that place is, and then going with the intention of truly bringing back information that can save us, dude. Like, this is something we have access to, and we're aware of it, and yet we're like, it's either being restricted. I like have the freaking hairs in the back of my head. It's like being no, but like dude.
Have you read the story of Lazarus in the Bible?
Lazarus? I guess so, but please do re-enlighten me.
This is why I love Christianity, because there's a lot of texts in the Bible that really do blow my mind. Even though I'm not a firm believer in Christianity, I really am not. I'm probably one of the furthest things away from it. But I've read many texts from the Bible that have blown my mind open, that I find truly, truly fascinating. I don't take them as a basis to live life on, but I also don't ignore them.
The story is meant to represent a point.
Yeah, so the story of Lazarus is they brought this guy back from the dead, right? This guy was dead, he was gone. His name was Lazarus. And they found a way to necromancy his ass back into the real world. And the funny thing was, he couldn't talk. He came back from the dead, and no matter what they asked him, no matter what they tried so hard to get him to talk, to explain what is out there in the afterlife. He couldn't speak. He couldn't describe anything. He couldn't.
There's no words there for that stuff.
There was nothing for it. And finally, the people that brought him back were like, okay, cool, we've made this man suffer enough. We're going to let him go back into the afterlife. And just as they let him back into the afterlife, he suddenly spoke. And the words he said was, "Oh yeah, now I remember." And then he was gone.
Yeah, see, that's a pretty cool story. I like the representation of we're not meant to know yet, but
you're not meant to know yet. You're not supposed to know in this state. It's like.
But
it's like asking to be cold when you're hot. It's like asking.
I think that's a bit different. I think it's a little bit of a. I don't think that the substances at all is anything you. What's the right word I'm looking for here? It's an experience that you're meant to experience. It's something that you can experience, and if you don't take it to, we wouldn't say extreme, but if you don't explore it fully, then I feel like you're doing a disservice to the experience itself. And so yeah, maybe it is, we're not meant to know yet, but if you're given the opportunity to take a look, wouldn't you?
Of course you would.
Yeah.
But what if one of the conditions was that if you do take a look, when you go back, you forget all about it?
That's okay. Imagine getting to
It's not okay for the rest of the people. It's not okay for the rest of the people that want an answer that haven't reached that state yet. Do you know what I mean?
Fair, but are you trying to make the point that we shouldn't give it to everybody, or that everybody would understand? Of course you would want to. Of course you would want to give it to everybody. That's the point of human nature. We want to spread knowledge. We want to spread experience. The problem is that sometimes you just cannot. You just can't
explain color to a blind person.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, did I talk about the book my friend gave me, the to explain his religion?
What's his religion?
Oh yes, you did. Last time you did.
Did I read a quote
about the small booklet he?
Yeah.
I don't think you read a quote, but the small booklet he gave you, right?
It's Christianity. It's called The Gospel of Jesus Christ. It's this booklet that's literally like trying to convince you to become Christian. But there's just one phase, one literal writing in here that I think would describe this entire situation, because people that think this way will never be able to handle the truth. And this one line is, "We are by nature morally corrupt, inclined towards evil and hostile towards the righteous God."
Yeah.
That is the
It's
core
like,
principle behind Christianity. We are not
that's
enough.
why you have to conform.
Yeah,
you have to,
you.
repent, give yourself back.
Yeah,
So, dude, it's fear based, dude. It's like,
It's fear.
it's just fear and judgment, man.
It's fear.
it is complete fear, dude. It's fear
It's
and lack
fear.
of.
It's fear because do you know why the peasants back in the day actually got indoctrinated into Christianity? Because the higher ups managed to convince them that if they didn't, and this is the funny thing about the peasants back in the day, is that they were able to fathom eternity, right? And when the higher ups told them that if you don't believe in this thing, you're going to burn and suffer and cry and be tortured for infinity, they were like, "Oh fuck no, bruh.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
fuck. I'll pick anything else besides that."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, "Cool, your only other option is to believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and do as we tell you."
Yeah. No, it's. I just think the core thing is there's a lot of good in Christianity. I actually really love a lot of the stuff. I
There
love the
is a lot
story.
of-
I love the stories of Jesus Christ. He is a really good representation. In the book, it tells you that you should live as Jesus lived. And I agree. Live as a good
Yeah.
person, kindly.
Absolutely.
But where I draw the line, where I really draw the line in Christianity is to say that humans are by nature morally corrupt and evil is fucked up. I think that circumstance and life causes people to become and need to survive. But inherently, people want to help each other. People want to be kind. People want to be happy. Nobody wants to be a dickhead. You're a dickhead because of circumstances.
Yeah, but try and argue that with a child.
Yeah, you can't.
And that's what peasants were back in the day,
Yeah.
for example. They were like children. Do you know what I mean? And you would be like, "Okay, do this thing or you're gonna suffer." And they're like, "Oh, so what? We're gonna do this thing anyway. What's the big deal?" It's like arguing with a child, like, don't touch this thing. Don't keep using the soap. And they're like, "Why not? I'm gonna keep using the soap because it makes my hands feel soapy." And they're like, "Don't stop using the soap. Only use it when you have to wash your hands." They're like, "Why not? I'm gonna keep using this soap. I'm gonna keep fucking making bubbles and keep
like
wasting
Santa
it and stuff."
Claus.
Like, okay, listen, I'm gonna freaking beat you if you use the soap. And then they keep using it until you freaking beat them. You're like, listen, kid, I've warned you 1,000 times over. I've told you what would happen. I'm gonna beat you now.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about Christianity. That's their ultimate argument. That's why they've convinced so many people that this is the way to live life, is because one way or another we're going to live this life, and the only way we're going to learn that we've done it the wrong way is if we go and burn in hell.
Yeah, see, but
it's when we receive that beating.
See, I don't think so. I think a lot of what was written in the Bible in case of like hell and that is more a type of living condition and mindset. I think that what people noticed was that if you are mean and you're a dick and you treat people poorly, other people will try to treat you poorly, and as your circumstances get worse, you get worse, and then you need alcohol to feel better, and then drugs, and then you spiral out of control, and eventually you end up in literal hell. It's worse than death because you're living, but you're hating it. And then there's also heaven, which is the opposite. When you treat people good, when you treat people kindly, things happen for you. You consciously think about what needs to happen and how it can benefit people, and it slowly starts happening around you. And so I think that's something that people started noticing, and then they were like, "Oh, this is a cool thing," but you can't explain that.
In heaven, wouldn't it happen anyway?
How do you mean wouldn't it happen anyway? Like, in the term of...
If you're living in heaven in ultimate bliss and ultimate ecstasy, wouldn't it happen anyway? Doesn't matter what other people are trying to do, doesn't matter what others' opinions are, doesn't matter what others' actions reflect on.
I think they're, in the terms of heaven, is I think it's a little specific. It's kind of weird, but heaven can't. I don't know. I think that in the state of being in heaven, you wouldn't want something that causes other people grief.
Okay, here's something that I listened to recently from a stupid ass source, but got my mind thinking, right? It's not even a stupid ass source, it's just one of the more modernly accepted, if I could say, philosophers out there right now in the world. He asked the question, what makes you think that we're not currently in heaven? What makes you think that right now we are not in heaven?
Yeah. I
I believe heaven's a state of mind, man.
That's the funniest thing, is that everyone keeps fighting and clawing and constantly trying their best to be the greatest thing so that they could eventually, earn heaven or get into the accepted list of applicants that get into heaven. What makes you think that we're currently not in heaven?
bro, to be honest, nothing. So
Nothing, right?
I think that where we currently are has the potential to be heaven for everybody. People just need to stop treating it like hell. And Christianity treats it like hell. They force you down, they don't tell you the beauty in the world. They draw it away. They don't talk about nature. They don't emphasize the beauty of reality. It's just how shit humans are.
See, there I have to step in and say that they actually do.
Where?
A lot of the churches out there do. And it's not something that I did willingly, but I went and visited these churches based on personal circumstances, and they try to make you appreciate what you have now and the beauty you have now and everything that you should treasure right now. They don't ignore that. They don't dismiss that. I just think that they're a bit too constricted and too directed, and they say that there's the valleys and the mountains, and you go through highs and your lows, but everything is according to God's plan and all of that. And the only thing I tend to disagree with when it comes to the current Christianity, the current mentality that is Christianity, that current religious sort of, whether it's Catholic or whatever fucking other faction of Christianity exists out there, they say that God is good and he is all loving and all powerful and he has a plan for you. That's where I tend to disagree. He is everything, which means that he is good and kind and caring and loving and all nurturing and all powerful and all knowing and all,
and at the same time scheming, envious, jealous,
and at the same time he knows nothing, and he hates and he fears and he's jealous. He's everything.
So I do believe I agree with you what you're saying with he's everything. I believe though that when there's fear, when there is judgment, when there is all of these, negatives, if you will, that is just the separation of God. Balance. Where God forgets, right? God forgets that it's God, and then it does all of these things. Where the pure knowing of God is love, right? That's what I believe, at least.
So I would like to believe that the fundamental force, even beyond the 1 and the 0, right? We take it one step further, right? Beyond the 1 and the 0, I would love to believe that it is the 1, that it is love, that it is kindness, that it is compassion, that it is the most beautiful thing that you could ever imagine. I want to believe that, but we cannot know that. We're not strong enough to know that. We're not meant to know that. That is
can't know anything.
That is
really.
God's realm. That is God's realm. That is not your realm. That is not your realm. that is not for you to decide. That is beyond any thought, beyond any existence. It is our existence is the duality reality. We are a 1 and a 0. We are darkness and light. We are happy and sad. We are warmth and cold. We are that thing. That is our reality. That is where we exist right now in the universe. To break it down beyond a 1 and a 0, a yes and a no, we cannot fathom it. We're not meant to fathom it. We're not built to fathom it.
Yeah. It's like not being able to fathom the irrational number. Or a rational number.
An imaginary number that exists in mathematics.
Yeah.
An imaginary number.
And
The fact that there are infinite sets that are larger than other infinite sets.
Yeah,
How's for a
that
concept?
video was insane. So the way they proved this, Chris, I don't know if you know the way that they proved that there's more numbers between 0 and 1 than there are natural numbers being 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what this guy did is he said, imagine you take all of the natural numbers, so starting at 0, and you write a random infinitely long decimal number out between 0 and 1, and then you keep going down and keep going down, you keep going down and keep going down, and then when the natural numbers, the infinity that is the natural numbers goes down, and the infinity of the decimal numbers goes down to infinity. So all possible natural numbers are in this thing. But what if you now go and you take the first index of this, which now becomes kind of like an array because your natural numbers are indexing your array. If you take the first number that's decimal, you take the first number in the decimal. So let's say it's a 7. You plus 1 to it, so now you have 0.8. And in the second decimal, let's say it's 2. On the second number is 3. You add 1 to it, which now you have 0.84. And so you keep going down in a diagonal, adding one number to it. What happens is when you get to the very bottom of infinity in the decimal, of the infinite natural numbers, you'll have a brand new decimal number that isn't in your list. And thus there are more decimal numbers between 0 and 1 than there are natural numbers in the world. And
It can be taken from the other side of the argument, though. The scale goes both ways. You can take it down further and further, but you can also take it up further and further. For example, in your argument, you can minus from that 0.84, right?
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing that discrete mathematics taught me in university, right? Is that the infinite set also has nothing in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is included in the infinite set. It has nothing.
A true infinite set. Exactly.
Isn't that ridiculous? That in the infinite set there is nothing included in it.
Dude, so like that nothingness, right? I believe or at least my way of understanding it is again, it comes back to the whole idea of the all is mental, right? So even if these things are ones and zeros being calculated, it's still like a mental process or a computer process, like still mental in nature, right? It's being calculated as brain cells fire, or as whatever a divine mind would be does what it does. So, and then as a result, there is this creation where it can be imagined of like a zero state where this divine being is completely, unawakened, and then expresses itself in the most basic of forms with the most basic of materials as bosons turn into atoms. We don't even know what's, below bosons, if anything, like we can't even quantify what a electron is. It's basically because yeah, dude, but like we're trying to like call an electron like a piece of matter, but that's not actually what it is.
Out there, string theory, my bro.
Yeah, no, dude.
No, but the thing is,
this is the thing, dude. And like we keep going up, and the complexity, you can literally just see the complexity like spiraling upwards and upwards and upwards. And this can be seen as a function of either an algorithm or a divine mind awakening and becoming more and more complex in its understanding of itself and of its environment. and then this entire universe that we're living through can be seen as this imagination or as this meditation of awakening of the mind of God, and then it can go back to sleep. Dude, it's this. Oof,
Yes,
it's a
that
trip,
last
man.
point, that last point you said to me really resonated with me as well. Is that it also could be the divine mind going back to sleep, and that's the hardest thing to do as human beings, is be in that state where we have to acknowledge that maybe we are in that time span where the mind is going back to sleep, or and we're not strong enough, we're not intelligent enough to know whether it's going back to sleep or it's awakening. We've not reached that point just yet. Can't fathom it just yet. In fact, I don't think we will fathom it for a very long time. We're not meant to. But that's exciting as well, because we have something to work towards.
That's what we're building machines for, dude.
Yeah.
Literally.
We are
that's what
problem
substances are
solvers.
for
We are
too.
problem solvers, and this is the latest problem that we've been faced with.
No, it's
Fuck,
the
we're going to
ultimate
Mars,
problem.
my dude.
Dude, it's the ultimate problem.
The ultimate problem. We're going to Mars and shit like that, dude. We have conquered our Earth as fucking little bacteria, little
Oh, dude.
tiny
Dude,
ass
like specks.
microscopic organisms. We have decided, like, cool, we're gonna conquer this fucking rock, this giant ass rock. Cool, now we're gonna go and conquer the solar system because we can, because we want to. And still, we are doing so much. We are incredible. We are unfathomable. We are magical compared to where we have come from. And yet, still so tiny, so small. And that is a good thing. That is a magical thing. Because if we were to reach the epitome, what's after that? What's the point after that?
Like, can I give a theory for why I believe we are in the awakening stage?
Yeah.
And I think this will resonate with you guys as well.
I would love to hear this theory.
The age of our universe as we know it.
Yes, I agree.
I agree.
I agree. I cannot deny this. This has been scientifically proven, based. If we were... Okay, this is where I'm going to throw a cog in the works. If we were to take the Big Bang as the start of our universe, and the end of the Big Bang as the end of our universe, we are still in the very, very infantry. Sorry, not infantry, infancy.
Infancy, yeah.
Infancy. We are incredibly, incredibly young.
The way to picture it,
Ridiculously young.
just the way to picture it that I remember somebody told me is if you take the time that our universe will live and you put it into 365 days, we have not clicked a millisecond on that time scale.
Dude, kurz gesagt, it's a terrible thing to do to reference a YouTube channel, but
Dude, they make fantastic
They make fantastic
content.
video. I will support them
I
all the
really
way.
love these guys. When they revealed to me that we're in the time span where we are still able to perceive the Big Bang,
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the known reality that will never be able to know what the Big Bang
Cosmic
was ever
background
like.
radiation, dude.
That blows my fucking noggin off, my dude.
Did you know that if we keep going and farther into time, the universe will expand so far that the new civilizations that crop up won't be able to see any of the light, because light won't be able to reach us because the universe expands quicker than the speed of light.
They will never know that our supercluster ever existed.
Yeah, they will see a dark sky with like 3 or 4 dots of their
and it's the same
their
for
Milky
us.
Way, and so
It's the same for us. In a couple of million, billion, trillion years, all we will ever know is our little supercluster.
yeah.
We will never know that there were a retarded amount of other galaxies and other superclusters that existed out there beyond us.
Dude, they can be civilizations born, dude, that will never even know that these other things exist. Dude.
Yeah.
Like they'll literally
But
just
we
see
do.
infinite darkness, dude. It's insane how much information we actually
do.
get to have. Yeah, dude.
But
It's something
we
to be
do.
grateful for.
It is ridiculous how gifted we are to know this. To not just imagine it, we scientifically have proven this.
We have evidence, dude. Like
We have
imagine,
evidence.
I want to do this as like a thought experiment, just to think of yourself, and you know that you live in this like galaxy, right? And then you kind of look out in the universe and there's just nothing. Just nothing forever. And then you form like your entire identity around, like, I wonder if they will be limited and how far they can go with some spiritual growth in some aspects, because they have, I think, representatively, maybe they will think of the darkness as even more expansive in that case, but like how much smaller their mindset must actually be. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around.
because they wouldn't understand how
like
big
that.
it is.
If I can pop in here, this is where spirituality has become a fundamental thing in my life, right? No matter how much I believe in science and physics and everything that has been proven and shown to me and mathematically described to me, I'm not a dumb person. I will believe the things that have been mathematically proven to me. I am still an incredibly spiritual being, because to me, I ask the question of how many other Big Bangs happened out there that we cannot fathom, right? We cannot mathematically prove, because we can only mathematically prove what has happened from our Big Bang to what we know now. How many other Big Bangs happened beyond that?
And then you can go as far as to say there's an infinite amount of them, actually.
That's the span of infinity. Infinity doesn't end, and I only now think we grasp a huge amount of infinity. Compared to every other being that we've ever come across, we grasp a huge amount. I think a ridiculous amount of infinity, but it's still not even.
I think it's weird. I think there's
not even
I think there's a big push, and something that we've actually always wanted to grasp is infinity. Like, it's the thing that humanity has been searching for so long. We keep wanting to go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Because it's the ultimate.
Yeah, it's
the ultimate question.
It is, dude. And it saddens me that we don't have a society that wants to figure that out. Like, it genuinely saddens me.
We don't, because there is no point behind it. I don't blame the people that don't even want to try, because there is no trying at it. It's those people that have a fire in their hearts that want to fucking tackle infinity, that are... You are the forerunners. You're the frontliners. You are the beauty.
The tip of the spear.
Yeah, exactly. The very, very atomic tip of the spear that wants to strive forwards. And even though it might be hopeless, even though you might not reach anything ever, you are a flying spear and you will not give up. And that is the point.
Dude.
That is the point.
Dude,
and for lack of a better term, and it is appropriately named, so you are the point. You are the point.
I want to say something that I decided I want to do in my life. The new songs from Babylos kind of solidified that point for me. So did our weekend at your place, Estian. But that is the drive for evolution through consciousness and learning. And it is this, like, I'm like, genuinely everything I do now is to sit down and go, how am I consciously gonna go about doing this thing? And what happened is I was doing a meditation earlier in the week, and I sat down and I didn't want to study for my semester test, my stats. I fucking didn't want to. It hurt my soul to get up and do it. And then I sat myself down and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? The fuck is the point of studying and taking this opportunity instead of flushing it down the drain because you don't want to study? What are you doing here? Why did you sign up? And I came to the conclusion that you study because you want to learn more about our universe. You learn stats and mathematics, computer science, because it teaches you more about everything. And the more you know, the more evolved you become, because the more capability you have of facing the world, the more you can help people, the more you can drive and get yourself to do things.
The more you are able to distinct between fiction and reality.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. Like, as much as you can imagine, you should do as well.
Between the imaginary and what is actual reality. And that's the point of science. That's why I love science above religion, is because science is, and this is a quote from the Tim Minchin video, right? Science is the observation of reality. Religion is the denial of observation for something that you believe to be imaginary, that you want to be fact.
Yeah, See, I think belief is very in the fiction or imaginary is very important because it allows us to get at it. By imagining what isn't real yet, we can make it. But I think it's important to realize what is truly imaginary and what is truly realizable. God is always going to be in the imaginary side because you can't prove
Always.
something that's bigger than us.
Always.
There's nothing
Constantly.
like until we realize a way to physically change the amount of dimensions in our universe and actually see outside it. Maybe DMT does it. We don't know. Maybe it changes the way your mind works. But
We are in the process of making God.
I agree. Like
We're in the process of building God.
dude, there's a quote.
That is humanity. I feel like that's humanity's current purpose is we want to make God. He doesn't really exist at this point of in our perspective in what we think God is. He doesn't really exist yet, but we want to make him. And we're going to make him.
See, I think there's also the song Babylon's Time, which has the beginning which says when you are born out of the infinite. And I think God is a thing. I think God is already a thing. I don't think we're in the process of making it. I think God
He exists in imagination.
Yes.
And the beauty is that we have been capable of making imagination a reality.
Yeah.
A couple of 1,000 years ago, there is no way we could have ever fathomed someone talking from the tip of Northern Europe being able to communicate with someone on the tip of Southern Africa. We've made that a reality.
Yeah, the thing is, our minds are expanding, like literally. Our concept and grasp of reality and infinity is getting bigger and bigger constantly. We used to draw cave paintings because that was our ability to represent what was happening in our head. We couldn't write, we hadn't figured it out yet. Now we're getting to this point where we have figured so much out that this exponential growth into the understanding of the infinite is just getting more and more and more and more. You think about how much shit you know about the reality that you're currently living in and how much of infinity you grasp. Yeah? Oh. Well, yeah, that's yeah, it's insane to me.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
We're here with you, buddy.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm here. Just trying to find the right words, right? Okay. So we have this idea of what God is supposed to be like, right?
Yeah.
What God is supposed to.
I don't think we have an idea. I think we try to have ideas.
Yeah.
Like we explore ideas, maybe.
We're the only thing that has an idea.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, like on a genuine level, like comparatively to animals and stuff, definitely.
We're the only thing so far in the known reality that we are surrounded by. And in everything, do you know how desperately we try to find other beings that are as conscious, as aware, as questioning, as advanced as we are, the universe. That has been our crux, our conundrum, our problem, is that we, despite the fact that we are 8 billion human beings on this planet, despite the fact that we are so many units in this world that have these questions in our mind, I do not question the intelligence of even the stupidest human. I feel like he has these questions in his mind. doesn't matter how stupid you are, you will still ask these questions.
But Chris, do you know what I?
As a human, sorry, let me finish,
Yeah.
Johan.
I'm sorry.
We still look out to the stars and we still hope and pray to God that there is something else out there that has these things in mind, that is trying to find the answer. We have not found them yet. So we have to do it alone. For the time being, we have to be the ones that forge the future and forge what we want to strive towards and forge what we want the universe to be like. I firmly believe that there is life out there. I firmly believe that there is other beings, other consciousnesses out there that are just like us, questioning and wondering, like, is there other life forms out there in the universe that are thinking the same things we are? I don't know. There's no way we can prove it, right? We haven't been able to prove it.
No,
Everything
you need
else
to
is
run
dead.
into them.
Everything else is dead and either bacterial, fundamental, or very, very unevolved. Not enough to have this brain that we have, right? But I firmly believe there is something out there. I cannot prove it. There's no way I can prove it, but I firmly believe
Just on the scale of our universe, like, you don't have to prove it. It's more likely than it's not likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I firmly believe there is some alien twat out there that has like fucking 20 limbs, roaming around with this mundane ass life, making energy for the rest of his fucking civilization, being like, are there other fucking living beings out there asking the questions that I am asking? I really do think that they are out there. That if we were to encounter them, we wouldn't even be able to comprehend how they are alive. Do you know?
Yeah. I feel like consciousness is the you become more conscious the more you can understand things. And I think the more you grasp your surrounding, the more you look outwards, and the more you wonder what happens above you and what happens in other galaxies and solar systems. And I think it's more than likely that there are a bunch of different reptilian people, crystals, things that we can't even fathom, that are
Can't even fathom.
sitting thinking and wondering what's happening. There are civilizations that we will never ever be able to think about that are seeing the very tips of our sun.
Probably that have existed and have nuked themselves to shit.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Probably. That's the funniest thing. I firmly believe that we're at that stage in reality where we're asking all of these questions, and I'm pretty sure that there have been civilizations that have asked these questions already, that have nuked themselves to shit and have died out, are completely dead. And I also firmly believe that there are civilizations out there that are still existing, that are asking these questions, that are eventually probably going to nuke themselves to shit. And I also believe that there are civilizations out there that exist, that are thinking these things that we are, that are going to get further than us. We're going to nuke ourselves to shit before they do.
I always wonder where do we end up in the scale of actually understanding the universe. And it's gonna be really cool to see how we progress forward, because our civilization, at least, is, in the same breath, it is becoming more sophisticated and kinder and more loving, but in the same in the same breath, it's also becoming more corrupt, and more people are pushing for agendas and trying to get their own. And I think gluttony is slowly overtaking us. I wonder if nuking ourselves is actually what will kill us. Like, if we're really gonna kill each other over... Actually, no, we will kill each other over disagreements. Until an alien civilization drops out of warp on top of our planet, we're not gonna get peaceful anytime soon. Humanity, Duncan actually said it all. Humanity needs something to disagree with. That's just for some reason, I'm not talking about individual, I'm talking about humanity. The global colossus of humanity needs something to pursue. And if it runs out of things to pursue or can't see the next thing to pursue, it pursues inside itself. And currently we're either going to need to get the understanding that we need to fight the universe, and by that I mean actually try and expand and become more aware, more sentient, more powerful, more scientifically driven. Or we need another alien species to get us to that point, because that's how every war's done. We can't see the direction of what happens. Everybody dies. We get a lot of new interesting technology. We leap years forward in technology, then we have another war. That's just what's been happening throughout humanity. So we're gonna need to either change that or fully jump into it.
Yeah, dude. Like the thing is, as well, we're heading with so much momentum. Like there's no stopping it anymore. Like the only thing we can technically do is just like nudge it, like in one direction or another. And we're gonna like either be just like going with this, momentum, or we're going to be nudging. And it's gonna come down to a choice.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to the choice of individuals. People don't realize it, but it's individuals actually making calls. Now, in the most interconnected that we've ever been, absolutely, everybody influences everybody. Like, it's ridiculous. You make a choice now, and you post it on Twitter, and 10 people are guaranteed to see it.
Yeah.
No, it's ridiculous. I find it so astounding. I also love all the information we have. You could rave so long about how good we have it.
We have it too good, man.
Dude, go to the store, order food, sit at home. Imagine your ancestors looking at you going, I'm hungry. Click, Uber Eats. Cool guy pitches at your house, gives you food. You chow it.
It reminds me of a meme, right? It said like my ancestors looking at me, my ancestors who fought tigers and bears and had to forage through thousands of miles of fucking land to get something to eat, seeing me having a panic attack in the grocery store.
Dude, just there with the cigarette in his mouth, like, God damn it!
Fuck.
This soft ass bitch.
On that note, homies, I'm gonna have to go. I need to go eat some dinner.
I'm tired as well, man.
Yeah, we've had a fun chat. It was a little bit delayed, but it's okay.
Yeah,
delayed
still think there was value.
We covered some incredibly good topics, man.
Yeah, we did.
So,
Adios.
you take care of yourselves. I love you guys so much. Adios to all of the muchachos listening out there.
Yep.
Listen, for all of them, all we can ever really do is just keep living, man.
Yep, that is the purest truth. And on that note, I love you guys. Goodbye.
Love you
Adios.
guys.
Still take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.